Dubai is often shown as a miracle of the modern world. Glass towers, artificial islands, endless luxury. A city that promises progress, wealth, and opportunity. But every image tells a story, and every story leaves something out. What the media rarely shows is the labor behind the skyline, and the people who built this city, and the conditions they endure.
Now join me as we peel the curtain back and look at what they're hiding beyond the skyline.
Dubai's global image is carefully curated. Tourism campaigns, business headlines, lifestyle media all reinforce the same narrative: success, innovation, and spectacle. But when it comes to labor exploitation, coverage becomes quiet or cautious, or framed as an unfortunate exception rather than a systemic reality. This silence isn't accidental. It protects power.
Time for our interview with Miss Nadine Cleary.
I'm pleased to say we have our first interview with Miss Nadine Cleary. How are you doing today, Nadine?
I'm good.
Okay, so the first question I would like to ask you, because you spent time in Dubai in 2024, how would you describe the way mainstream media covers labor issues in Dubai?
I'll tell you this. Their media organizations operate within political and economic realities. What I learned from being over there is Dubai is a powerful global business hub. It attracts investment, advertising, and partnerships. That's why there's often a reluctance to jeopardize access or relationships. So coverage becomes cautious, and what comes next is caution being turned into silence.
I want to know, when you was out there, what type of discriminatory language did they typically use for to describe the workers?
The phrases I saw there were things like migrant worker concerns, low wages, or harsh conditions. What you don't often see is the term forced labor or modern slavery. That distinction matters a lot. Softer language reduces urgency. It reframes exploitation as another case of boy who cried wolf instead of systemic reality.
Okay, Nadine, we're getting down to some good questions. This is great. This is my last question. Do you believe that the media manipulation, and what I mean by media manipulation, the way they market Dubai, the way they're social media influencers, the way they reach out to us as the U.S. and to other countries through social media, and the way they market it, do you believe that the media, the manipulation of the way it's presented is intentional?
When I was there, most of their mainstream coverage focuses on Dubai's economic growth, some tourism, and architectural achievements. Anytime forced labor conditions are mentioned, there's often framed as incidents rather than problems within their government. They emphasize development and not the forced labor system behind it.
And that's crazy, because that's just a problem, bro. I know that was just traumatizing to see that and the downplaying of it. Well, thank you, Nadine. I appreciate you for the interview.
No problem. Thank you.
Modern day slavery doesn't always look like chains. It looks like confiscated passports, debt bondage, threats of deportation, 14 to 16-hour workdays in extreme heat. Human rights organizations have documented these patterns for years, particularly among migrant workers recruited from South Asia and Africa. Yet these realities are often reframed. Words matter, and so does what we refuse to name. All right, let's get down to the bare meat and potatoes of the grimy practices in this nation. The kafala system. At the center of this labor structure is the kafala sponsorship system, a system that has been in use for years. Under this system, a worker's legal status is tied directly to their employer. Leaving a job without permission can mean detention, or even worse, deportation. Even reporting abuse can mean retaliation.
freedom becomes conditional.
And I want to provide an in-depth visual example. Migrants come seeking opportunity and leisure. Then they have to give up their passports as mandatory just for employment. Then their passports is then acquired and put into limbo by an employment agency until they felt the time of employment was sufficient. Then cast away as slaves, labeled and viewed as city workers, never to be heard from again.
And yet, still the skyline grows. Let's get you into the part where they pull us in. How they sway us. How they manipulate us. How they get us to believe that this is a place of abundance. A place of freedom. A place of luxury. A place of leisure. But it's all a lie. Let's get into their media.
The way they use social media to blanket their identity and their practices. By prioritizing spectacle over suffering, media coverage becomes complicit, not necessarily through falsehood, but through omission. Luxury is amplified, criticism is minimized, and abuse is contextualized. When silence protects an image, that silence becomes powerful. Such as catering to Dave Chappelle and Bill Burr and offering them enormous amounts of money, our celebrities, to do a private comedy jam, and it was with the exclusivity of it being in Dubai. But just to blanket the recent story of them killing an American journalist. It's all the way their media goes about hiding internal affairs. This isn't just only about the modern day slavery and their use of the kafala system. This is zoned in on media manipulation as a whole. I want to leave y'all with this. This film isn't about demonizing a city. It's about questioning how narratives are constructed and who benefits from them. It's about what progress really means when foundation is hidden.